Hello and welcome to the latest update on the Mk4 Supra 1UZ swap. So since the last video, quite a few things have happened. I've just not been able to record it because basically didn't feel like it. But the main thing is the engine is back together. So I've received the timing belt kit and the water pump kit from Australia, so that's all fitted. As you can see, I'm running the shorter belt now. That it took me a few attempts to get right because I've ordered the wrong ones. But even still, it's a bit too loose. I need to order a new tensioner, which I will do at some point. So yeah, I've put in the new timing belt kit with all the new tensioners and idlers and whatnot. New cap, new rotors, new manifold gaskets, loads of new bits on the engine, but I still need to do new plugs and new wires, which I will do at some point when I can get around it. The main thing is the gearbox is bolted on. I'll just get to this side. So the gearbox is bolted on. As you can see, the adapter is there. These wires are from the automatic gearbox wiring loom, and I left two just so I can connect the reverse switch on the BMW gearbox. So I need to do that before the engine can go back in. On the car itself, I washed this area a little bit. It doesn't look much cleaner, I think, than it did before. However, it is a lot less oily, which is nice. I can't remember if I mentioned before or not, but I've got this adapter from SRD Tuning, basically to allow me to run a Willwood master cylinder, and apparently it's recommended if you are running a BMW gearbox. Another thing I've done is I've put in the original Sora wiring loom for the fuel pump. I literally had to splice in two wires that go to the fuel pump feed, and obviously you won't be able to see from here, and I can't open the boot because the bonnet is on the top of the car. But basically I had to splice in two feed wires for the fuel pump feed. I've placed the actual pump ECU control unit, whatever you want to call it, just there, and then added a plug there, so it goes to the original wiring. So that the fueling side of things is done, and I need to redo this AN line because I just do, because I ordered the wrong fitting for this end. So, which I have now, so I need to redo it, but obviously not with this line because it's now too short because I've cut it so many times. On the interior side of the car, we've got the manual pedals, which is nice. I need to take the brake pedal off because, well, it obviously doesn't sit right, but the clutch is nice and sturdy in there. So the next steps would be to basically test out the clutch, and basically what I have here is I had to order, basically this is AN3 line, and basically I've ordered adapter here and there. Let's zoom in a bit. Basically, I'm going to run this sort of connection to the master cylinder, just simply because there's no space to put a proper or like a normal fitting, like that sort of fitting, because there would need to be a really sharp 90-degree, which there are other brake pipes there, so it just wouldn't fit. So I've ordered a couple of meters of AN3 line, some fittings, which went that hard to figure out what they are, and my plan is to basically put this onto the master cylinder, bleed the clutch, and see to make sure that the clutch works, because I've never put in or never assembled a triple plate clutch before in my life, and I'm a bit worried that it's not going to work. So yeah, so that is the plan for the next step. However, I can say that I did put the engine in without the gearbox, and I did actually manage to get it running from the ignition key. Well, can't talk. There was a slight catch. So initially when I put the engine in, basically it started up. However, I couldn't turn it off, and I had to mess around with some wiring here. And basically on this plug, I had to, as you can see, add my own wire, which came from another plug, and this is basically a permanent feed, and this is a switched feed. So basically, if I do that, then everything works off the key. If I leave that in, the cat starts, but then when you turn off the ignition, the ECU is still powered up. Speaking of powering up ECU, basically what I've done, I've cut off the plugs from the 2JZ loom, which probably wasn't the greatest of ideas, bear in mind how much they cost. I went online and I found pinouts for different plugs that basically all go in there. Most of them seem to be matching, some of them don't, but that's a headache for another day. As you can see, there's a lot of wires that are like ABS related or automatic gearbox related. So obviously I'm not going to use them because I don't have ABS or automatic gearbox, but most of them, like low level oil light, coolant light for the dash, tacho, which actually surprisingly works and seems to be working correctly. Then there's like a reverse light, which I don't know whether that needs to be grounded or what else needs to be done with it, or whether it needs a 12-volt feed. What else do we have there? Yeah, so basically that's the 2JZ plug. This is the, no, sorry, other way around. This is the 1UZ plug, this is the 2JZ plug, and I've just been trying to match up what's what. Obviously the black and orange wire is all switched power. That's the same across both. But yeah, it's just all the wiring diagrams are available online. It's just a matter of basically finding them all and going through the pins. I do actually have, and I can't remember where I've put it now. Basically, I've printed off a lot of pinouts, and I literally just sat and went through every single plug. Obviously, one thing that did help me was this little guy, a printer for the labels. Makes life a lot easier to just label everything up before you start actually joining the wires. Yeah, I think that will be it at this point. I will insert the video of the car starting up and running, just to say, yep, that has happened. But yeah, the next steps are to make sure that the clutch works, and if I'm satisfied with that, then engine can go back in. I can also confirm that 1UZ, so the Supra 1UZ engine mounts work absolutely perfect with the Supra subframe. They just slot right in, which is great news. Another thing that I'm kind of worried about is how much space there is for the gearbox in the gearbox tunnel. I have seen people having to cut out the tunnels before and use the manual tunnel. Apparently it's bigger, so that is something that I might have to do, but I'm hoping not to. But yeah, once the engine is back in, I can make my own gearbox mount, which I do have a solid idea how to make that. And after that, it's exhaust, prop, bleed the brakes, and first test drive. So yeah, I'm going to leave it at this point. Obviously, here's the video of the car running for the first time. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. Leave a comment, like, dislike, whatever. Any reaction helps. Thank you.